Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and we've got a massive patch dropping in War of the Visions tomorrow, featuring new units, new gear, +6 to old gear, new master ability 2s for the old Halloween units, just a ton of stuff coming in with that super hype background farming feature that is like, I am so excited about. But we do have these new units and unit buffs, so I want to look at the new stuff coming and the stuff that's getting buffed. And let's go ahead and start by looking at the big featured new unit right here, Halloween Lucia. This is the girl who got her own YouTube video. They are really building her up, and I want to start by talking about why she is a big deal before we even go into her kit. And it's all about this right here, cost 70. In cost-limited PvP situations in this game, whether it's limited guild wars, whether it's class match, something like that, cost 70 UR units are something you can just build teams around because they open you up to use the more OP units of an element. Her being cost 70, if we look right now, here is the current cost 70 lineup for Dark. It's just Whisper, not somebody you necessarily want to build a team around. We can now add Halloween Lucia to this mix, and if you're running something like a cost limit 250, you can mix a 70 cost with one of these like 80 cost units right here, most notably somebody like Lemure, who I think is going to have really good synergy with Halloween Lucia. Garvel, Kane's really good. There are a lot of really good units right here. Then you have 100 cost left, which means you can come here and work in one of these really OP dark units at that 100 cost level and potentially have a total banger of a cost limited team on your hands, and which Lucia being 70 cost is one of her best things that she's bringing to the element. Now, she's also bringing something else really interesting in her Trust Master that I want to talk about before we get into what she actually does, and it's this little devil dress. Notice the TMR skill on this is a damage limit 2000 buff for 3 turns in a small cross-shaped AoE. Now, I'm not going to say that this is going to be a 100% must-have for all like guild raid or PvE high score situations, but it is going to open a lot more possibilities, and I do think that in certain scenarios this TMR will be necessary for the maximum high score. So if you're somebody who chases high score in guild raids or Trials of Reckoning or something like that, I think this is a TMR you're gonna want to pick up, depending maybe on how the banners look for you, because stat wise I don't think it's that great, but this buff really is interesting. It's the first buff in the game, I think, that increases damage limit. This will stack with gear, it'll stack with the EX boards, so you're talking about 2,000 more damage added on the top. So that's really cool as well. I'm excited for that to just mess with it in guild raids whenever those come back. Now, her master ability. She has the HP and dark attack buff for her group, great. Then they really go into survivability for her. She's getting 5% HP and 10 AoE resist. The 5% HP is really kind of lame. I don't like that really a lot, but 10 AoE resist is wonderful. That will really help her survivability, especially if you are stacking some AoE resist. Now, let's look at her kit. This is a thing I think everybody really wants to see, right? For her support abilities, she's going to get a defense and spirit penetration buff and an HP and magic up buff from her new grimoire job. So you can see they're really going into damage plus a little bit of survivability, especially against physical targets. You also have the option of mixing in magic and magic attack from Black Mage, which I think a lot of people will go for, or tuning agility and movement with Thief Knowledge. Overall, I think her support abilities are very good for a damage dealing Black Mage. Great, and she's not a Black Mage, she's a grimoire, whatever, but she does magic damage, right? I do like her support abilities a lot. I think the spirit penetration is going to be a must, then mixed in with some either like magic and magic attack, or magic and a little bit of HP, or agility and move. For her counter abilities, she has hide and resist. This is an interesting one. 30% chance to proc, and it'll decrease her aggro by 1 and give her 40 AoE resist. So good synergy right here with her master ability. Essentially, if you are stacking AoE resistance on her and this triggers while her group is being targeted by an AoE, she might be near to taking no damage from that AoE attack. So I do think this is a good counter ability, just it is very situational. It's not as good as like a reflex or something like that. Otherwise, she has agility up and magic counter. I think you probably just run hide and resist most of the time. Okay, what does her main job do, right? She's a damage dealer, so what kind of damage are we putting out here? Her cheap move, Break Word, this is a attack and magic debuff with 141% damage. You can see she scales off of magic, dex, agility, and luck. It's medium range, single target. Overall, not the best move, but 13 AP is nice and cheap. Now, Blue Protect. This is a single target buff for her only. It will grant her AP consumption down 20% for 3 turns. It'll get her Protect for 3 turns and defense debuff resistance. So really, like, the big thing here is probably the AP cost down in the Protect. It's okay. It's again building into her, like, her wanting to fight against physical teams mainly, so it's not bad. Now, Shirley Tail here, this is a 100% hit chance move, small AoE in a line in front of her, but reduces counter chance by 100 and 165% modifier. This is a good move and gives her access to 100% hitter. She's not going to have a problem fighting evade teams. She has another little tidbit bit in there later. Now, let's talk about what, like, you want her to do. Like, what is the actual theme of this unit? And it's all about high-end accelerator and misery toad. So let's start with high-end accelerator. This is really neat. It's kind of unique. With its EX buff, it loses its cast time, which is really important. And what it will do, 185% modifier. It hits in the diamond-shaped AoE, which if you want to be an AoE unit in today's game, I do think you need at least access to a diamond-shaped AoE move. There's hers. It will then decrease the defense penetration of the target, which is interesting, right? But if the enemy is killed, she will automatically gain CT up for herself. So I think they kind of want her to be this, like, unit who you build in to be like the last hitter in your chain, who goes in there and drops a big AoE bomb after the rest of your units have done something, and then procs CT up and maybe gets to lap a unit on the other team, going again and dropping her bomb again for a big chaining, like, wombo combo. It's a cool idea. Will it be easy to pull off? Definitely not. Will it be effective? We will have to see, but I do like the idea. It is a cool, unique thing she can do. Now, she does have a few more TP buffs. Spell of Shield, which is upgraded to Spell of Fortress. This is a physical damage shield, 7,500. So essentially, if you are fighting a physical damage dealing team, this is 7,500 extra HP. That's really, really good. It comes along with an AoE resistance 15 buff for allies that are right next to her, and a defense buff for her allies. This Spell of Fortress, this is a really good buff. Like, really good. So I think you're going to want to be running this most of the time, and then since it's a group buff, the AI will probably prioritize that, and then she can throw on her Protect secondary or TMR, something like that. Now, Misery Toad. This is another really interesting option because it's a fairly long range skill, 3 uses, 200% modifier, single target. The modifier is important right here. Because it's a higher modifier than the rest of her main job skills, the AI will prioritize this if she can hit a single target with it. And it can toad. Like, toading an enemy is essentially removing them from the fight until they just get, murdered by the rest of your team. Really cool. Maybe some quicken toad shenanigans with a Lemure or something like that. Hey, and she's a witch, and witches turn people into frogs, so it's thematic. It's really cool. It's something that unique for her. I like that a lot. Now, she does have a heal built into her sub-job, Grimoire Master, but it's a very short-range AoE heal, although it does heal very hard. And then she has Book of Confucius, which is definitely supposed to be Book of Confusion, which is a medium-range, small AoE with a chance of inflicting Confuse. Okay, really like this Toad move. Really like that Toad move. She has Sub-Job Black Mage if you just want a little bit more damage, although I don't know really why you would want this. Maybe Flare to get away from being only Dark Element and get that big modifier for Flare. And then she has Thief, which I guess you could use for, like, Steel Heart shenanigans or Steal Time if you really, really needed that or something. Now, her Limit Break. Let's talk about her Limit Break. When casting another attack, also launch the following skill: magic shot. So she gets an 86% damage modifier with, you know, basically the whole map range. Follow-up attack, much like what Lightning has, or like what Astrius has with his limit break. She'll get that buff for 3 turns. It's another 200% modifier. The other cool things about this is it has increased accuracy chance, and she will absorb 30% of the damage done. So if you're building into resisting a little bit of physical damage or absorbing some damage with your shield, but maybe it still chunks you low, you can then hit with this limit break, top off your HP, and you get your follow-up attack, which those are really good, especially when fighting units with courage. They pop their courage after the first attack hits, follow-up attack comes in and removes that courage and kills them. So overall, what are kind of my thoughts on Witch Lucia? I think for a 70 cost unit, she's really gonna pack a punch. I think if you pull for her, you won't be disappointed in those cost limited situations. Keep in mind, here's my warning about her. Dark is really, really good already. Is she going to be as good as those 100 cost dark units and jokers of the world? Probably not. However, will she shine in limited guild wars? Will she shine in class match scenarios? I think she will. She has manual play potential with that Toad. I think in those cost limited situations, that's her niche. So if that interests you, I would say go for her. Now, let's quickly talk about the rest of the Halloween units who are getting their master ability to upgrade, and we'll start with the most OP one of them all, Halloween Little Leela. Previously, her master ability was group buff and evasion rate for herself, which could help you troll some people sometimes with a random dodge from her. What they are doing is they are giving her more magic, which will make her both a better damage dealer and a better healer, 2 things she excels at already, and giving her 20 spirit penetration, which will help keep her online for a modern day magic damage dealer. She is also a cost 70 unit if you don't have her. Much like Lucia that we just talked about, this girl shines in cost limited situations, and honestly, she's so good she shines outside of cost limited situations. So look, Halloween Little Leela is one of those units where if you're a wind player, I really love her. I use this girl all the time, and I think her master ability too is just kind of just generically making her better at the 2 things she does. So neat. Now, Zombie Ryryu. This one's a little bit more interesting. Mostly, people who pull for Zombie Ryryu stop building him at level 99 just to get access to the Zombie Mask, which is one of the most OP items in this game. Being able to give re-raise to literally anybody is busted. However, this guy does have a use, and his main use, and somebody, this is coming from someone who has used him quite a bit, is in manual PvP. Here's the deal with this guy. He does a lot of damage. He's kind of hard to tank, or at least he really used to be hard to tank. And with his Paladin subjob and his own TMR, you can give him courage, re-raise, and then when you're manually closing the gap towards an enemy, which is one of the more difficult things to do in manual PvP, his Paladin subjob gives him access to Sentinel, so you can be casting Sentinel as you're closing that gap. This is very, very potent, a potent skill, a potent thing to do in manual PvP. Defense and Spirit, though, not as good as they used to be with all the penetration in the game, so I do think he's fallen off a little bit. Let's look at his master ability too, though. He's keeping his group buff and his slash attack resistance pin the same. He's gaining more HP and more defense, so again, leaning into that like hard to kill bit. More magic is really good for his damage. He scales off of magic, and AP consumption down when his HP is below 70%, which he spends a lot of time there. Although AP consumption down is not something he necessarily really needed. Overall, I think he's going to be about the same as what he was, a manual play guy, and you can sneak him in for some like Earth shenanigans if you need some magic damage or something like that. Mostly people will still pull him for his zombie mask. Halloween Fredrika, a unit I just recently built up. Her cost 90 feels a little high. I think she's more in line with like a cost 80 unit. Sneaky Snuggles is really nice to give your PvE groups access to a single target resist debuff. I've used her for that a lot. Overall, I feel like she's a good Earth Evasion unit, but Earth Evasion is just not as good as Light Evasion. She is getting some buffs though. Slash attack resistance pin is very important for any slash attack dealer. Healing power up, she does have healing in her kit, so that's nice. And increased single target resistance when her HP is above 70%. So anybody targeting her with a sure hit single target move will have that move significantly resisted by this, giving her a little bit more survivability. Overall, I'd be curious to see what the duelist fencer a job upgrade looks like at some point before I'd say go for her or not. I think of the old Halloween units, I think Leela's definitely the best. I think Ryryu's TMR is top tier. Okay, we are also getting some new units coming into this game this week that are not Halloween. Tunak is the first one. So he's cost 90 water unit. His master ability is HP and water attack up for his group with 5% attack for himself and 10 AoE resistance. Once again, 5% attack is whatever, it's only 5%, but 10 AoE resist will help him stay alive. His TMR is a robe, 308 HP, 12 defense, 12 crit rate, and it comes with an attack and luck buff in a small AoE. That's not bad. Attack plus luck is nice, but overall I'd say this TMR is not something you're going to like pull the unit for, just the TMR. When we go look at his skills, I think you'll start to see what Tunak is definitely meant to be in this game, but let's start with his support abilities first. Fencer's Knowledge, love this. Defense pin, evasion rate, give me defense pin on all of my DPS units. His other one is crit rate, crit damage, also really like this, and I really like this one for PvE, which is what this guy's going to be excelling at. Nightblade Secret, this is attack accuracy with an evasion debuff. I like that attack for PvE. He also has move 1 and agility from his thief job. Don't sleep on how important it can be on some maps, whether it's PvP or PvE, getting that extra move and being able to agility tune with a support ability. Really like that. React Mirage, chance to counter physical damage with an accuracy debuff. Okay, counter swing is just a counter attack and an agility for 1 turn. Overall, his counter moves are not very good in my opinion. Again, I think pushing him towards being more of a PvE unit, not so much of a PvP unit. But let's continue. Let's see what else he's got. First of all, his main job, Sharp Edge, 14 AP, 7 uses. It's 121% modifier with a high crit chance, medium range, it's whatever, it's only 14 AP. Stance of Resistance. Single target move gets EX upgraded. It's going to give him 25 evade, 20 single target resist, 30 defense, and 30 spirit for 10,000 turns if he has been hit less than twice. This is a strong buff, and if you're going to play him in PvP, I'd say you probably want to figure out a way to get him to use this buff on himself to help him live. He has offense and defense. This is a group small range AoE buff. Cost 30 TP, increase AoE resistance by 15 for allies, increase critical hit rate by 25 for allies, and grants the following effect, Mystery Effect, for 3 turns. Yeah, we'll look at that later. I don't know what that is, but that's a good buff. An AoE resist buff is nice, and with crit added onto it, this could be something where if you're specifically building like a water team to be AoE resistant, maybe that's something you would like to work in. Okay, keep that in mind. I just realized, like, the way I have this set up right now, you can't actually see the cost. So watch this. I'm gonna do a little something you probably shouldn't do, and I'm gonna adjust this on the fly. Watch this. This is some next level YouTube video making skills right here. Oh my goodness, look what we've done. I probably ruined the top of it, but whatever, we can now see the whole thing. Okay, moves, Whirl Slash. This is a 170% damage modifier with 35% crit chance. It will decrease the critical rate for enemies and decrease their accuracy. So if he can get in range in PvP and pop this off, his whole group's probably going to evade for a while. It's not a bad move, I kind of like it. But again, here we go. Let's get to what this man is meant to do. Here's his PvE specialty moves. Rapid Cut, which gets upgraded to Rapid Break. This is a defense debuff, which is very important for PvP. It's also a 2-hitting attack that dispels Protect, scales nicely off of attack, and decreases healing power. This is a chaining move that comes with a defense debuff. A lot of times you need to be debuffing defense in PvE. Love that a lot. He then also can give himself slash attack resistance penetration for 3 turns, and this is a 3-hitting move with he can use 4 times. So once you've debuffed their defense and you're just ready to start chaining, start popping this for a 3-hit chain, and 165% damage modifier is nice. He has a move and critical hit rate buff from his duelist job and an accuracy debuff attack from that job as well. Nightblade and Thief are his sub jobs, and his limit break, again leaning in to that PvE status, is a single target resistance 38 debuff. That's a huge deal. It also hits really hard, and it hits 3 times. Everything about this guy is PvE chaining. That's his thing. Okay, next up, Ravelka. Ravelka is a free unit. You're going to be able to farm her out, shards, mind spheres, everything in-game for free this week. She's cost 50, she's fire. So fire, again, not the best element in the game, but a cost 50 MR unit will help you out in some cost limited situations. In fact, if the cost limit is 250, you can go double 100 costs plus her, which that is really potent. King Mont Ravelka could be a very nice PvP fire team, especially if you plan on fighting some ice. Anyway, her TMR is Lady's Claw. It is a glove with Spirit Pin on it. This is really good. This is a really good TMR weapon. Wish the magic was a little bit higher, but putting Spirit Penetration on a TMR weapon is nice, and you're going to get this for free, so it's something you can add to your kit. Maybe put some Trust Stones on to build it out. Her Master ability, she's going to give her Fire allies HP up and slow resistance up, which again, slow in the game. That's a nice thing to resist. She's specifically going to be good against Ice with 20 Ice Killer, and she'll have AP consumption down. If we look at her kit, she has the Energist Hyperactive that gets upgraded. So remember, Hyperactive is that thing that like makes these units really, really good for the first 5 turns in a fight. For those first 5 turns, she's going to have 30% more agility, 20% more missile resist, 60% more magic, and 60% more dex. Like, oh my gosh, that's a steroid. But after 5 turns, it does run out. She can then give herself 30% more magic in 2 different ways. She can give her 24% more magic with Doom Nullify, or you can lean into getting a little Spirit and Ice resistance buff. And if you're fighting Ice, that right there might just be the way to go. As far as counter moves, she does have physical reflex. I think that's really, really good. Or she has all damage reduced by 30%. Either one of those is nice. You could also go Regenerator if you want a little regen built in, but personally, I love hyper reactivity. Put reflex on a unit, you just run that most of the time. Okay, her basic attack is a missile attack that scales off of magic. Her main job right here, Energist, again, this is a magic missile / magic damage hybrid class. Scales off of magic, dex, agility, and luck. Bullet is her cheat move. It has 8 uses, only costs 12 AP. It has a medium range. She has Flickering Jutsu, which will move her to a panel and increase defense debuff, or increase debuff resistance by 30. Maybe this is useful, like some manual thing where you can start a Quicken on her, then warp her across the map and drop a bomb? Maybe? Anyway, she does have Double Blow that hits for 245% modifier, but only hits once. It hits really hard. The range is short, though. That's kind of the problem right there. Obstruction is a physical damage barrier for herself. Detonation, this is the bread and butter skill of Energist. It's that AoE 100% hit attack. Hers gets EX upgraded to also decrease the missile and magic resist of the target by 20%. That's nice. Like, that's really cool. And she has a 2-hit missile move that dispels basically all buffs and haste. So, there are some there's potential in this kit, right? I think there's potential in this kit. Her Energist subjob, she has Continuous Bomb, another 2-hit chainer, and then she also has a 49% chance to inflict sleep for 3 turns, plus increase the chance by up to 24% for actions done by the target if the AI will use this. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. Then she has Kodadama Wielder subjob. You're probably not going to use this one much, except for maybe like this Heart of the Needles buff, which could be really potent on her. She already has a better 100% hit move, and then you could run her Inner White Mage sub to give you access to some like Curas, Protected Shell, some stuff for her to do at the beginning of a fight, including Curaga. Nice big AoE heal right there for your allies, and if you're running like King Mont maybe her AI will trigger on that in like Fight 2 of a limited Guild Wars or something. Okay, that's it for units. We are already 23 minutes into this video. We have a little bit more to talk about. Next up, the Wave Sword. This is a new sword we can farm in the game. You can see the jobs that can use it, and let me just tell you, this thing is really good, especially if you're a new player and you need a bunch of swords. Here's your sword. Farm this thing out. It has both an attack and magic version that have respectable attack and magic stats. It has an aim version that honestly has sort of respectable attack and magic and 12 accuracy. Anyway, farm the hell out of this, because look at these conditions. So if you are one of these jobs right here, right? So you have, I can't hover, but like Spellblade, Paladin, Knight, Red Mage, this one, Fencer, Assault Warrior. If you're one of those jobs, this will give you all elemental attack up 15, Increase AP acquired by 30% for yourself, and reaction block rate 30% as well. If you are one of these jobs and you want to do damage to the enemy, this is going to be top tier. Also, acquired AP up 30% is really nice. It also has slash attack 15 for everybody, but definitely if you're playing these classes, it's real good. For red mages, right, this is a real sword option for red mages with that elemental attack and acquired AP up. Love it a lot. That's really cool. We'll be able to farm that. Now, turfing is getting its +6. So here's the deal with turfing, right? It was a critical damage 20 for 4 turns for self before with slash attack 15. None of that is changing. The crit damage 20 is staying the same. Slash attack 15 is changing. What you're getting here is a stat buff on this. Assault version goes up to 174 attack. That's probably the thing you're going to be running. There's also a 22 accuracy version of this with 21 crit. Now, I believe I have a friend outside my door who might want to come in. If he can figure out how to come in, I'll let him be in the video. Otherwise, he's going to sit out there and just yell, "Dad, dad, 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 dad." Okay, Flame Tongue. Oh, I think he's trying. We might get a special visitor. Hurry up if you're going to be a special visitor. Special visitor. Come on in, buddy. We'll just open the door. Here, we'll go. We'll make the screen a little bigger for the special guest, or it'll break. Come here, dude. Come here, dude. Do you want to say hi? Hi. Show off your purple ball. Diaper baby. Diaper baby. Diaper baby. Okay, go get mommy. Go get mommy. Okay, that was special. Now, the Flame Tongue. This is one that I was kind of excited about, but honestly, I think the +6 on this falls a little short. It's not super good. Basically, the fire attack 30 stays the same, slash attack 15 stays the same. They're adding 10 accuracy to it, so you get 10 accuracy. Now, don't sleep on 10 accuracy. That's kind of nice, but for a unit like Setia, Terra, who I really like to use this on. She already had 100% hit attacks anyway. Maybe this is still good for Leela, but the assault goes from 143 to 157. Like, that's just not much. The magic version still sucks. You do get a little bit more accuracy, so overall it becomes a 24 accuracy item, which isn't terrible, but overall, I'm a little underwhelmed by the Flame Tongue +6. Healing Mace. Here's one of the most underused maces in the game. Basically, for your +6 right here, the magic version goes from 157 to 188. So a significant magic buff of 31. You still have the Curata on there. Magic attack 15 stays the same. You get healing power 10. So if you're using a unit mostly to heal, this will give you a little bit extra healing power. They're just leaning into what healing mace is kind of supposed to be. That's neat. And then the Fittest Lucerna. This is the piece of armor that's getting the upgrade. Here's why you ran this before. Did you want a high spirit piece of gear with slash resist on it? If yes, this was your go-to option. They are upping the HP and spirit significantly, so I do like that. It gets a little bit more crit evade. Slash resistance stays at 8%, and you will get slash resistance debuff resistance 50. Overall, again, not super impressed with this. However, it does get more HP and more spirit, so it's not terrible. And finally, deep breaths. That's it. That's all the stuff. It's a lot. This is an almost 30-minute video. Thank you guys for sticking this out. If you're looking forward to that stuff tomorrow, let me know down in the comment section. I can read the comments at school, but I am blocked on the school's Wi-Fi of posting comments, so I'm reading them all. I appreciate them. Thank you guys for all those comments. I really do love to read them. And I'm gonna go take a deep breath and maybe like eat some food. Okay, have a great evening. Have a great day, everybody. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.